G'day and welcome to DIY with Pliers Space. Today we're just going to be going over a few of the tools we might be using over the upcoming series. The idea is to give you a bit of an idea of some basic household tools that you can use to fix and patch up most stuff around the house. Alright, so screwdrivers. First up, we've got the Phillip head. The Phillip head looks like a star. These are the screws that are most common you'll find these days, and the reason being is it's easier to catch into the groove in the screw and start doing what you're doing. Problem is there's not much space for the screwdriver to actually grip onto the mark inside the screw, which means Phillip heads are more likely to strip out. Stripped out screws are no fun, so make sure you're being careful when you're doing it and don't try to tighten things too tight if you can avoid it, especially with little household stuff around the home. Then you got a flathead, and it's called that because it's got a flat head. So the hammer, the claw hammer we were talking about before. The biggest thing to remember when dealing with a hammer is watch out for your fingers, because you'll hurt, you'll lose nails, and it's not much fun. Always safety first, look after yourself. But how to actually use a hammer properly, it probably seems pretty straightforward that you just grab it and you swing away at your nail. However, you're not going to actually get much power if you're gripping it all the way up here. Might be more accurate to hit the nail, especially if you haven't used one much. However, gripping it back here, this is where hammers were made to be gripped. And the reason is it creates the angle to get the power in the swing. So what you do, and this will be demonstrated in a moment, you start your taps very gently, holding it back at the distance. That allows the nail to grip in, and then you can remove your hand, and then you can get the job done. The bubble level, really basic demonstration. All you have to do is sit it on top of what you're trying to get level. So we'll use this photo frame as an example. If it isn't level, this is what it'll look like. And all you got to do is slowly move it. Bit too much. There we go. The tape measure. Like I said, you've probably seen these used, if not in person. You see them in movies and stuff all the time. Again, pretty straightforward. Pull it out. It's got the measurements on it there, and you can measure what you want to do. Now the big important thing that, if you haven't used one before, is there's got a little button here. Push this and it will stick to the length that you've assigned it to. Remove it and it'll snap in. Be careful when you're letting it snap in, because it can sting if it nicks you. Pliers. Pliers are fantastic everyday use tools. Your snubby nose plier versus your pointy nose, fairly self-explanatory. Now these are great for gripping. They can be used in here to cut wire. Again, remember, watch your fingers whenever you're doing anything with these. But these are super, super handy. Use them around the house, in your car, whatever it is. There's always a use for having some pliers. In fact, I actually keep a pair of snubby nose pliers in my car. This has been another DIY video with Pliers Space. Brenton signing out.